So if you want to start off with simultaneous equation, so what we need to understand is that the values that you are taking, you'll be having what? Two equations. From those two equations, this is equation one, and this is equation number two. So when we are doing simultaneous equation, so what we need to understand is we need to pick first equation, pick first equation, and make x the subject. Pick first equation and make x the subject. Once the x is subject, substitute x equation in x equation in equation number two. So every time what you need to understand is you're going to pick the first equation. You need to make x the subject. Once the x is the subject, then you need to change it, put down in the equation two. Let's say x plus 2y equal to 3. So x will become 3 minus 2y. X will become 3 minus 2y. To make x the subject, what we did was we shifted plus 2x on the right hand side. So it becomes what? 3 minus 2x. It becomes 3 minus 2x. Then the second equation is x plus 3y equal to 1. We substitute in the place of x. So this will be 3 minus 2y plus 2y equal to 1 plus 3y equal to 1. So we get what? Plus y, 1 minus 3, y becomes minus 2. Y becomes what? Minus 2. And since I need to find out the value of x, 3 minus 2y, x is equal to 3 minus 2. I can substitute minus 2 in place of y. So x becomes what? Minus minus plus, 2 2s are 4. So x becomes 7. X becomes 7. So the coordinate of this will be 7 comma minus 2. Now this coordinate is basically point of intersection. What is this? Point of intersection. So when you solve simultaneously, you get what? Point of intersection. And point of intersection for these two equations was 7 comma minus 2. So knowing the fact that we have two equations, right? So we'll be using these two equations to get the answers. So what we have is the first equation is x minus 3y equal to 4. X minus 3y equal to 4. So what we need to know is that once we change the value, this minus 3y goes on the other side. This will be x 4 plus 3y. So now x is the subject from the first equation. So we can shift, obviously, simultaneously solve it, substitute in the second equation. So since I need to substitute this, so we write down the second equation to get the answer. Second equation is 4x plus 3y equal to 1. So we write down 4, and in this x, we write down 4 plus, because obviously we have 4 plus 3y, and the remaining is same as plus 3y equal to 1, right? We made sure that we made the subject as x, and then we substitute in the second equation. Once we substitute in the second equation, what are we left with? 4 fours are becomes what? 16 plus 12y plus 3y equal to 1. So 12y plus 3y becomes what? 15y, and 16 goes on the other side, becomes minus 16. This will become 15y equal to what? Minus 15. Y becomes what? Minus. So since y is minus 1, what we can do is we need to find out value of x as well. So this will be 4 plus 3y. We can substitute in the x equation, or we can substitute in the first equation, or we can substitute in the second equation to get the value of what? Y. So this will be x is equal to 4 plus 3 minus 1. So x becomes 4 minus 3. X becomes what? 1. So coordinate of this will be 1 comma minus 1. Coordinate of this will be 1 comma minus 1 for part J. Okay, let's work upon question number L. So what does it say? So we have again two equations. Let's take the first equation, x plus y equal to what? 1. So can we just say x is equal to 1 minus y? X is equal to 1 minus y. X is the subject now. X is the subject now. Now what we can do is write down the second equation. And in second equation, we can change the value of x with what? 1 minus y. And apart from that, we can write down the entire equation of what? Equation number 2. We need to substitute in the value of x, the subject that we took out from equation number 1. So this will be 4 minus 4y minus 3y equal to what? 11. Minus 7y is equal to 11 minus 4. Minus 7y equal to 7. Y becomes what? Minus 1. Similarly, on the other hand, if you just see that we already had x as 1 minus y, so x becomes 1 minus minus 1. So x becomes what? 1 plus 1, that means 2. So the coordinate that we can have is, that is point of intersection, we get through simultaneous equation. So this is 2 comma minus 1.